Good morning, everyone. I think we're ready to begin, and we just have one bill. In attendance on the members of the committee, myself, Chair Sharon Green Middleton, and also representing the 6th District, Vice Chair Woman of the committee, we have Danielle McCray. 2nd District, Danielle, are you here?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair.
We also have a member of the committee, Councilman Ed Reisinger of the 10th District. Councilman, are you here?
Here.
We also have Robert Stokes, Councilman of the 12th District. Are you here, Robert? Robert Stokes? We heard him a few minutes ago, so he is around.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Councilman Stokes. And then I see we have Councilman Eric Costello of the 11th District. Councilman Costello, are you present?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Checking to see there's no other council members to recognize that I see at this point. But we do have Dominic McAlally from the Council President's office. And we also have present Matt Stegman from the Mayor's office. And also Rebecca Simmons from the Council President's office. This morning, the Taxation, Finance, and Economic Development Committee will have a hearing on Bill number 20-0529, property tax and rem foreclosure and sale vacant and abandoned property for the purpose of requiring the Director of Finance to withhold from tax sale certain real property designated by the Board of Estimates for foreclosure and sale under a certain process, authorizing the mayor and city council acting by and through the Department of Housing and Community Development to initiate an rem foreclosure and sale of certain real property for delinquent taxes. This bill was introduced on May 11th, 2020. The bill was sponsored by President Brandon Scott for the administration. And do we, someone, the sponsor or a representative would like to speak on this bill?
Hi, good morning, Madam Chair. Can everyone hear me okay?
Good morning, yes.
Hi, Stephanie Murdoch, Legislative Liaison for the Department of Housing and Community Development. I just wanted to announce some of the other members of our team that are here today. We have Kate Edwards, Assistant Commissioner for Land Transactions and Management, Joe Kirshner, our Managing Attorney in the Development Division, Chief of Policy and Partnerships, Bob Pippick, and our mayoral fellow, Tyler Adamson, who has been working tirelessly on this bill this summer. Before I begin, I wanted to recognize and thank the advocates and architects who worked so diligently at the state level to get the enabling legislation passed in 2019. This includes groups like the Community Law Center, Neighborhood Housing Services, Strong City Baltimore, the Small Developers Collective, the Center for Community Progress, and the Community Development Network. And some of them are on the call today, and some of them have submitted written testimony. So without them, we would not be here today, and we really want to thank them for their hard work, and we hope to be the first jurisdiction to implement a local bill. We hope that this in-rem tax sale foreclosure process is going to be a new blight elimination tool that we can add to our toolbox. I'm going to ask Joe Kirshner to talk a little bit about the current tax sale system and then the parallel in-rem tax sale process.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning. Yes, I'm Joe Kirshner.
the managing attorney and at the development division. And this comes to me because I'm in charge of acquiring vacant properties, vacant lots and buildings for the city of Baltimore for these rehabilitation and redevelopment efforts. So I'm going to just real quick fly through the current tax sale system, how we acquire property that way, and then what this bill would do. So for starters, when nobody buys a certificate, which at the tax sale, which happens when the liens exceed the value, usually when the property is essentially worthless, then that we end up holding the certificate as if the city had bought it. And what we do is then file a foreclosure case. We end up acquiring the title through a tax sale foreclosure case because we actually end up holding the certificate that has fallen to the city. One of the problems with this is that the tax sale certificates last for 2 years and then they expire. But these properties are sold at the tax sale every 3 years. So there's a year gap where once a certificate expires, we can't foreclose on the property until the following tax sale. So that's how the current system works. So we're frequently having to wait a year until we can try to address a particular vacant building or vacant lot. And so the idea behind this bill is to allow us to go ahead and just foreclose on the debt. We don't have to wait for the tax sale anymore. We can send notice to the owners of the properties and say, you know, your property meets the criteria. It's a vacant lot or a vacant building with a vacant building notice that hasn't been addressed, and the liens exceed the value in the property. If you don't pay the liens off within 30 days, then we will file a foreclosure case. So the idea, I guess, is to take out the barrier that is waiting around for a tax lien certificate, for the city to be a holder of the certificate, so that we can just foreclose right away. Tax sale currently is probably our most cost-effective way of acquiring these vacant properties. If we did condemnation, for example, we have to come up with the fair market value for the property. But when you foreclose on a tax lien certificate, it's really the tax arrears that gives us the impetus to acquire the property. So we don't need a budget for that. And the properties are essentially tax abandoned. They have no value. And the value of this NREM bill will be that we can do it a lot faster. We don't have to wait that extra year. I guess the only other thing I want to point out is that there is lots of notice in here. The owners of the properties will get notice before we file. They'll get notice after we file. Anybody with an interest in the property will be named in the foreclosure case, and they have the opportunity to defend it. So it's not curtailing anybody's rights. It is simply allowing the city to act sooner than it otherwise might have been able to. If the ordinance passes, we'll probably kind of have a couple cases as trial balloons. We'll want to kind of work it through the administrative process in the court. But once it's up and rolling, we expect it to be a useful tool to help shorten that time that it takes for us to acquire vacant properties.
Thank you. Sounds like some definite big improvements. Any comments or questions from the committee thus far? Okay, is there anyone else from housing that has a statement to add to this? No one else?
That'll be all. That'll be all for now, Madam Chair. We're just here for questions that may arise.
Thank you. Now I guess I'd like to hear if there are comments from the Comptroller's office, and Jim Knighton is here.
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair and members. Jim Knighton from the Comptroller's office on behalf of the Department of Real Estate. The Department of Real Estate stands by its position as stated in its impact statement, which is we support the legislation.
Thank you so much. The Department of Planning. Do we have a representative here from the Department of Planning? I see Eric Tiso. Eric, are there any comments from planning on this bill? Well, we'll hold off on that, but planning did approve and support the bill. The city solicitor's office. Elena DePietro has trouble getting on, but they are in favor of this bill as well. So, and the Department of Finance.
Good morning. Mara James, representing the Department of Finance. I'm also joined by Pedro Aponte, the Assistant Director, Budget Director for Revenue, and Dorothy Reed, the Deputy Chief from the Bureau of Revenue Collections, to answer any questions. We stand by our report. We do not oppose this legislation. Based on conversations with the Housing Department, we don't anticipate any additional costs due to the implementation of this bill.
Thank you. And okay, so Eric Tiso just sent something in writing, and they do approve the bill, and they have no objections.
Can't hear you.
We're now going to go into testimony, and I had asked did the committee have any questions at this point. If not, we're going to go ahead with testimony.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, Councilman Stokes.
First of all, I want to thank Stephanie Murdoch for, I had asked for some current number of vacant structures and vacant lots by the district. Thank you, Stephanie, for your hard work. And I just had a question, if that's all right, Madam Chair.
Yes,
I want to request from Stephanie. Stephanie, can you give me a full list of tools that the city can use to acquire property from private owners, like default or liens? Is that possible?
Yes. Do you mean in following up on this hearing, or would you like to hear about it now?
No. Just if you can give me that information, you can. Nah, I just want to get that out of the way so we can just move on with the hearing.
Sure, absolutely. And Bob Pipick is also, I believe, on the line as well, that can speak to some of the tools that we use, and Joe can add to it as well.
Okay.
So
Just email it to me.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Will do, Councilman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate it.
Any more questions from the committee? We're now going to see if we have some public testimony. Okay. Housing, while we are still waiting on that, do you have any advocates that want to testify? Or is there anyone else within your team, Stephanie?
I believe the written testimony has already been submitted to the members of the committee. So it's up to the discretion of the chair if you want to read any of that into the record. Let me look at the attendee list. I do believe we were going to have at least 2 advocates calling in.
Okay.
I don't want to put them on the spot.
Okay.
So I do see them on the attendee list, but I don't want to put them on the spot.
Okay. We're working on getting them on board. And while we're doing that, I see that Elena DePietro was able to join us. Ms. DePietro, did you want to do comments from the city solicitor's office?
Sure. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I'm sorry for the delay, technical issues.
That is fine.
Yeah, I have worked with housing and legislative reference in crafting this bill, and we're careful to follow the guidelines of the state law that enabled us to enact this ordinance. So the law department is fine with the bill's contents and would approve it for formal legal sufficiency.
Thank you so much. Okay, we have no one with their hands raised for attendees, but we do have two people. And I just want to remind you to make sure to unmute yourself when you hear the two beeps. This is instructions for the attendees, the call-in attendees. Everything. Caller one? Is caller one there? Do you have
Hello, yes.
testimony?
My name is Melissa Weller for Frank Boston.
Yes. You can go ahead.
I'm sorry, I do not have anything to say. I'm here listening to the meeting for Mr. Boston.
Okay, thank you. Now caller two, I think you received your two beeps. Caller two, are you there? Peter Peter Duvall, are you there? Did you want to testify for any reason?
Actually, no, I'm just here to monitor the hearing. I don't have anything specific to say.
Okay, thank you. And there's no one else with their hands raised. So I guess we're ready to take, I'm ready for a motion for a vote on this bill.
Ed Rice moves.
Madam
Ed
Chair,
Costello seconds.
Madam Chair. Hello.
Councilman Stokes, yes? Councilman Stokes, you have a question? Okay, the bill was moved by Councilman Reisinger. And who seconded?
Costello.
Costello. Chair Middleton, yes. Vice Chair McCray. Vice Chair McCray is a yes. Councilman Costello.
Yes.
Councilman Costello is a yes. Councilman Reisinger.
Yes.
Councilman Reisinger is a yes. Councilman Stokes. Councilman Stokes. Are you there, Councilman Stokes?
Yes.
Thank you. Councilman Stokes is a yes. All in favor, the committee will present this bill to the full council for second reader at the next council meeting. And again, I thank you all for attending. The bill passed favorable with no amendments, and I thank you all for attending the Taxation, Finance, and Economic Development Committee hearing. And you all stay safe and healthy. Goodbye.